Welcome and good morning. Good Saturday morning. Glad to have you with us. I'll tell you, look outside today, Mike, Powell,
Perfect.
Lenny.
Beautiful.
Beautiful out there. Sunshine, sun coming up.
Temperature
Yes,
good.
saw the mist.
Temperature is good.
The mist in the valleys and hills as I drove up today.
And
I didn't see that, Mike. I was driving too fast.
I guess so, since you got here a
I
minute before airtime.
I thought it was while I was on the radio, and I Can't Drive 55 come on. I thought,
you were right.
That's me today.
Nope, not today.
It made him made it realistic for him. Couldn't drive 55 coming in, but degrees in October. But I'm hoping that does not surface for us this year.
It's not too bad when it's around 80, 82.
Yeah.
Cool nights, gets into the 50s. That's not bad.
Hey, I agree with that. But hey, a really good night last night for high school football. It was nice weather, great atmosphere where Mike and I were up at Bunker Hill. I don't know what we could have done to, for my selfish purposes. It's 10 degrees cooler. I would have that's more my line, but I'll take what we got. At least we didn't suffer with the 90s for maybe about 3 weeks. Maybe about 3 weeks into the high school football season that we suffered.
I guess the worst was the press box down at East that night. That was pretty.
That was bad, and we also had a game, Mike, that we did one week they delayed all the starts around here to 8 o'clock.
8 o'clock,
or a lot of them anyway. They delayed till.
Those were the worst times.
Till 8 o'clock. Big football fans, as big a football fans as we are, and I was looking at the schedule, the college schedule. Don't say anything. Don't say what about anything. Nothing really jumps off the page at me today as a.
Oh. Well.
No, don't say. Just say as a must-see game. But what I wanted to ask you guys is 9:30 a.m. football on Sunday morning from London. I think this is the London one. I know it's a European game. Falcons, Jaguars, two teams that are 2-1.
Mm-hmm.
Do you watch?
Yeah.
Okay.
I usually watch Sunday morning on Sunday morning, but I'll have to give me where is it? Wembley Stadium. Which one is it hosting that game?
That's where they normally play.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know if it's.
I don't know if that's where
I could probably find the details here in a little bit, but I don't know exactly which stadium it is. This year, it's this year too, right? That we go to Germany.
Yes.
Not we,
Germany
but the NFL
Right.
goes to
expanding to Germany.
Yeah. Will we have an NFL team in Europe in the next 10 years? We'll just go with that number. In the next 10 years, do you think?
I wouldn't discount it completely.
No, I wouldn't. But
the bad part to me is having it there. I think the franchise would struggle because they wouldn't sign any free agents.
No.
I mean, unless you made their salary cap double what the rest of the league is. I don't think they'd sign any free agents because the players, want to, live, play where they grew up and where they live, and especially with the ones with families and stuff, don't want to go.
Although we've had a history of players who couldn't hack the NBA playing in Europe. That's been going on forever.
Yeah, but you just said the reason why.
They couldn't hack it.
Right. Yeah, they couldn't make it. And this would be, just a bona fide team that they keep talking about a little bit. I don't think it's really been a major topic up to this point. But, I just wonder if it happens, just different things that
well, how about one in Canada? We've had baseball.
I kind of like what they do here better. Canada I could see. Toronto, I don't, they don't have a Canadian Football League team in the U.S. though, so I wonder if that's something they'd stay away from to not interfere.
Yeah.
Probably.
And it is different seasons,
right.
Different times of the year, but still, I mean, the NFL is the most popular. Got to be the most popular sport.
It is. I would say it is.
And in the I don't in the United States. I don't know if I want to say the world because soccer seems to dominate.
You say that in in Manchester, they're the most expensive franchise, so that kind of tells you that.
Yeah.
Problem.
Yep. And
well, they were. I guess they still are.
I wonder how many in that league. How many of those are in England?
Yeah.
How many of the powerhouse, or just any franchise? I shouldn't say powerhouse. Any soccer franchise, professional soccer, is in England. To me, just automatically, I think that's the bulk of the league. I mean, that's where that's where the strength is. But I don't know that for sure.
Oh, a couple good mornings today from Facebook. Rich Hauser. Good morning.
Good morning to Rich.
Oh, here's something from Mark Alton. A little note of interest for tonight's game with NC State and Louisville. That was
last night. We'll go ahead and read it.
We're in black uniforms with glowing in the dark numbers.
Should have saved that for Halloween.
Save that for Halloween. How'd that game turn out, by the way?
13-10.
13-10. The Wolfpack on the bottom end. No, on the bottom end.
Ooh.
Wolfpack on the bottom end last night. Must have a really terrific defense because it seems like they're keeping all their opponents in check. But
State's.
How about Louisville under Jeff Brom?
Jeff Brom's doing a great job.
Where are they, 4-1? Or
he's 5-0.
5-0.
Even better than you thought.
And he's not going anywhere either. I mean,
that's his
better offer
job.
Comes along. I mean, it's going to have to be super because
he's going back home.
Because that's
right?
alma mater.
Alma mater,
yeah.
He's already been to Purdue, which is big.
Purdue and did well there, and I believe he was at Western Kentucky before that.
I would think this is probably his dream job.
Yeah,
you would think.
I mean, unless it would be very rare few that he would accept.
If Michigan came calling or Ohio State, yeah, sure.
But
that's the only two you throwing in there, Mike?
Well, Alabama. I mean, just keep going.
The traditional powerhouses.
I didn't know this. He turned down the offensive coordinator job at Alabama 6 or 8 years ago.
Did he?
To stay at Louisville as an assistant coach before.
Now, here's something else from Chad Mullis. Just seen where FSU and Clemson will be moving to SEC. I haven't seen anything about that. Have you guys?
Who?
Clemson and FSU moving to the SEC.
I hadn't heard that.
Fresno State.
Yeah, that's Fresno State. That's not Florida State.
Good morning, Monty. Monty Mosteller says good morning to the STG crew. Glad to have him with us this morning as well. Mike, there's a lot of different things to talk about, and it's a busy college football day. Like I said, Mike, go ahead and correct me. What is the game that jumps off the page?
Well,
today in college football?
Wallace Wade Stadium college
game day visiting.
I realize a little tarnish is off because Notre Dame lost to Ohio State, but it's still a big game.
It's a big game.
It is.
If Duke could win this game, wow.
Yeah. Who is the game bigger for?
Oh yeah, well, I don't know. Notre Dame, if they have any playoff aspirations,
I think if they would run the table, they probably get in.
Probably long term Duke, but Notre Dame's a perennial power. They got to win to stay in the hunt.
Mm-hmm.
That's so. It's big for them right now. Duke, long term.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems like a loss in a game like that. In any game for your, top 10 schools football teams each year, a loss probably loses you a recruit or two. No matter who it's to.
I'm already concerned that Michigan State's going to come looking for Mike Elko, particularly if he wins this game.
Yeah, I can see him.
They can throw the money.
This is a stepping stone. It's kind of different from Braun.
Mel Tucker, right?
Yes.
What is he gone?
Yeah,
he's fired him.
He's out.
He
is.
Of course, I've seen he's took out his lawsuit.
Yep. Of course. Yeah.
But he's gone. Yeah.
I have not heard enough details to have an opinion. Maybe you guys have on whether you think he's guilty of the accusations or whether he's not.
It's kind of in a gray area.
Yeah.
He said it was a consensual
thing. Yeah.
So he admits to it happening, and then.
We talked about this, right or wrong.
Right. Yeah. He said. She said.
Wrong place.
Yeah.
That was.
Yes.
He ought to have.
Yes.
He had ought to have been more knowledgeable. Wrong place to be doing that.
With the recent history,
what all they went through, they weren't going to
particularly back with the Olympic doctor and everything else. That's right.
Yeah. Right, wrong, gray area, whatever.
Yeah,
he is going to be gone, because of the earlier events that had happened with other people in the program.
Yeah. That's a story that and Michigan State, I don't know, can they ever be on? They one time they were, I thought, one of the top programs in the country, and when I say top, at least top 15. I don't know if they can ever be on a level with their rivals in Ann Arbor or with Ohio State. Maybe they can, maybe they can't. But
Michigan State's a very tough job.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to recruit against Michigan and Ohio State. You're in
and
the same
others.
division. It's tough.
Yeah, honestly, and others, because I'm going to tell you right now, those directional schools in Michigan are all pretty good.
Yeah.
Your Central Michigan team,
My Chippewas
and the
can give you a game. That's right.
Eastern Michigan,
Yeah.
Western Michigan, got a little bit of everything, don't they? And but
now next year, when UCLA and Southern Cal come in, are they going to eliminate the divisional play?
I don't know if they figured that out yet. I don't know. I hadn't heard enough detail.
You're asking the wrong people.
Yeah.
I mean, if you don't, what are you going to do? You're probably going to put USC and UCLA in the West.
Yeah.
You got to bolster the
I'll
West.
put them in the East, make it interesting.
Yeah, along with Ohio State, Michigan State, Penn State. Yeah, sure.
Evidently, they don't care. Then
again, you don't know how they're going to stagger them.
That's right.
When you say divisions, it's going to be East, West. You might have Michigan, Ohio State split up.
Mike, what was the rumor that you just talked about? You said which two teams were Florida State and Clemson are going to which SEC?
Yeah.
I hadn't heard.
How many are they going to
Like
have?
that.
20? Well, Florida State's been hinting at it a long time.
Yeah.
And kind of ticked off a lot of the other athletic directors and in the ACC, so they probably knew ahead of time we're going there. It's just a matter of time until they work out the details.
Well, we know there's still going to be some earthquakes with this.
Oh yeah,
whole realignment thing. I mean, it's not over by any means.
I just think about Florida State, and they've had they're undefeated, although they had some squeakers in the early going, but they won the squeakers.
They won 2 squeakers.
Yeah.
If you count Boston College, right?
Boston College, I forgot about it.
31-29.
And then the one last week was against Clemson. Come from behind win.
That was
in that one. But they, in the second half, they blew out what I think by watching is a pretty good LSU team.
Right.
I think they outscored them like 20-something to nothing in the second half. They were behind at halftime, and then outscored them. The other one I think was ugly against maybe. It was. Oh man, I can see it's the Redskins' old quarterbacks, Grambling State. Is that not right? Because that's an interstate.
I can't remember
matchup for them. I think that's in Louisiana. I think it was Grambling for some reason, but no, that's LSU. I'm thinking about. Never mind. That's LSU. I'm thinking about, not Florida State. Don't remember who Florida State.
It still was a.
Don't remember who Florida State.
It still was a. It was a division FCS or something.
Was it?
It was. I think like Jacksonville State maybe or somebody like that.
One thing I think about, next year at this time, how much more anticipation will you have? And Jay said, yes, Doug Williams is a Grambling grad. I had the wrong team I was trying to figure out, though. That was the LSU game that I can't recall Florida State's fourth opponent, but maybe somebody in Florida, like a South Florida or Central Florida or something like that.
Mike, it's getting off, but you were talking about Jeff Brom in Louisville. I heard him. I heard this earlier in the week, and this was before they beat State. Said that you're talking about the ACC championship game making a run. They told this. I thought ever since if they beat NC State, no Florida State,
okay,
no Clemson,
right,
no North Carolina on their schedule.
Whoa. Who made that schedule out?
So
well, that comes from the conference itself, because
yeah.
those are all conference games.
You play everybody over a 2-year span.
The problem
next year they'll catch all three.
I was going to say that's the problem with having it that way.
Yeah.
It's better to have 2-1, 2-1.
I know,
yeah. But in their case,
Now they're still Miami and Duke are there,
right.
but I thought
that's pretty
looking
good.
at it, I thought that's
pretty good.
That's pretty good. To make a run to the ACC title game. That literally takes Clemson. I think they're out anyway, but that takes Clemson to
with 2 losses. It will be tough. Now next year it wouldn't be as tough,
right?
But right now, I have to agree.
But when
with
I heard
two
it,
losses,
I thought, wow.
Because there's going to be 4 quality teams at the end, most likely,
Right.
that don't have.
And that was
Don't have 2
pre-NC
losses.
State. And then I thought last night when they beat State, I thought, well, that's another step in getting to the ACC title game.
So in NC State looking at another 8-4, 7-5 minor ball game.
I was just looking at this, and I'm just thinking about what we're in for a year from now. And it looks like, that Georgia, Michigan, Texas, Ohio State would all receive first-round byes in next year's 12-team playoff, right?
Right.
So then that puts 5 against 12. And you know what happens in 5-12 basketball games?
Upset City.
Well, guess who it is? Guess who the 12 is? If you, I'm just going by AP rankings, right now. It's all
12.
Okay. Okay, think about it now. 5 is Florida State. Okay, so they're going to draw the 12th seed, which you think, very winnable. It's Alabama. I don't know. I'd want to be 12th. 5th. I would rather be 6th or 7th because it might be a little bit lighter anyway. 6 is Penn State, so that tells me they would be taking on Notre Dame. Great matchup in my opinion there. Penn State and Notre Dame in that first round. Washington. This is the team that nobody really knows about, but I watched some of them the other night. I'm not so sure they're not the best team in the country. Only time will tell.
They've been a machine, scoring-wise.
But
Michael Penix.
Yeah, he's looking good. That entire team is looking good, and they are.
I tell you what, I like.
They're as fast as anybody I've seen.
What's it, Dave Lanning?
Yeah, Oregon's coach.
I tell you, he's Oregon's coach.
Dan Lanning.
Dan Lanning. Those guys are talking some smack. I mean, in the last couple of weeks, the usual coach speak, right?
Right.
They've been blasting each other.
Yeah.
It's fun. I mean, it's very different.
Oh boy, there's been a lot of people blasting each other.
Yeah.
In this college football season.
Ohio State coach went after Lou Holtz.
Lou Holtz. Yeah.
And was it Lanning? One of them went after.
Lanning went after
Lee Corso.
Yeah.
Well, let me tell you what entered my mind this week. After Sunday, the first thing I thought of in my mind was, does Sean Payton have a right to call out anybody's coaching job?
Boy, he's had to eat those words.
Remember his words back in the offseason?
This is the worst coaching job I've ever seen.
He is 0-3 and giving up 70 in a game for the first time since the 60s.
These second times around don't always work.
I'll tell you who's sitting back with their arms folded like that and just chuckling is Hackett. He's saying, I did a terrible job and you lose by 50.
That's right.
Maybe he didn't have anything to work with. Not much to work with. A washed-up Russell Wilson.
Is he done? And I
don't know.
Dan Patrick,
I hope not.
Dan Patrick brought up a great topic. Is he playing himself out of the Hall of Fame?
Well,
I think he was probably a Hall of Famer in Seattle.
He had the great 2-year run, back-to-back Super Bowls.
And it's remembered for what?
The pick.
Yeah.
The pick at the goal
The
line.
2-year run is I love Russell Wilson. I do. And I hope he gets it back and gets things in order. But, it's a great debate of whether he's worked himself out of the Hall of Fame right now. Because just winning a Super Bowl don't get you there, or Jim Plunkett would be in the Hall of Fame with 2 of them. And I still disappointed Jim Plunkett's not in there. But
do we blame Wilson, or do we blame, I don't know, Pete Carroll or OC on that?
Let me tell you something. I like them both, but I'm not sure Russell should have ever left where he was comfortable at. It was 1 year that wasn't great, but the other years had been pretty doggone good.
I'm like you.
He was used to everything. He knew the system, and
now he's got coaching turmoil, and
I don't know if it's Pete Carroll because. What's the guy's name from West Virginia that's in quarterbacking?
Smith.
Gino. He's not playing bad.
No, he's not.
He's not as gifted as a Russell Wilson.
No.
But he's playing pretty good football.
Because he struggled. He was considered a journeyman quarterback before he got to Seattle and revived his career.
Exactly,
yeah. He's not flashy. He's not going to, he's not going to do things like but he
seems to fit their system.
Efficient kind of.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know if they want to be called that, but he is a bona fide starter in this league, and I'm guessing out of the 32 teams,
so
he's in the upper half.
Is he bona fide and certified?
Bona fide, certified, whatever.
An allusion to "Oh brother, where art thou?" Right?
Bona fide, certified.
Bona fide, certified.
Going through a couple of more of these. Washington, I said, is number 7, so 7 would be taking on. Is that 10? Utah.
Hey.
Oregon at number 9, taking on Southern Cal.
God, I wish it was here already, 2024.
I know. I hate we're going to miss that for a season, but guess what? How many of those 12 will still be in the top 12 next year? 10 of them?
Yeah.
At this time?
But I'm saying this would be a great year to start it.
Now think about this. This is really going to blow your mind. Think about, what they say, last 4 in, which right now is Alabama, Notre Dame, Utah, Oregon. First 4 out, who are still fighting to get in, right? Still have a chance. And those would be LSU, Oklahoma, North Carolina, and Washington State. What about Washington State coming out of nowhere?
I know.
And believe it or not, the next one is Duke.
There you go. That's crazy.
The 15th ranked, 17th, ranked team is Duke, followed by Miami, Oregon State, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Florida, Missouri, Kansas, Fresno State. I don't know who on that bottom tier will make the biggest jump next year in the preseason poll, but somebody probably will.
Well, what's made this season so
could be Miami.
Is the rise of the Pac-12.
Yeah.
It has.
So
it really
many
has.
good teams.
And at one time, like after a week and a half, that's what because it's week 0, right? And they were where were they? I mean, they had already proven themselves in a way.
Wouldn't it be wild in their last year, their last stand, Custer's last stand, if the Pac-12 got 2 teams in the playoffs? I just think that would be amazing.
Jason says no ACC school can leave before 2036 unless they want to forfeit their media rights.
Yeah,
well, I can promise you this: they're not staying to 202036.
That's not That's
if we're talking about Florida State here and
but like what Jason's saying, it's a big buyout.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean,
it's a big buyout.
More so than.
But guess what?
The USC's and them leaving.
Give me a time frame how long it takes them to make up what they have to pay. I mean,
right.
Going to that conference and the way the money's going to be in there, I'd say less than 5 years.
Yeah.
That they're back and making money again.
Florida State, I think they're upset about the revenue sharing.
Yeah.
Because ACC's always been.
Says
more across the board. Everybody equal. And.
Well, this says the grant of rights in place until 2036. I don't know that we'll ever see a grant of rights
extended that far again.
Not again.
No way.
Not again.
Especially
in the market with the big schools
and the playing field changed when the ACC put that in. That was the Maryland rule when Maryland kind of pulled the Baltimore Colts and vanished overnight.
Right.
That they put that in and extended it out so long. That was, and then the playing field has changed again with with these dissolving of certain conferences, literally.
Yeah.
UNC, Clemson, and Florida State, Jason says, have had their lawyers looking into this, and they all say it's an airtight binding agreement. But it may be, and they may get some money, but nothing. I mean, it may be airtight,
right?
But it's going to go away.
Oh.
I mean, it's going to be ignored,
right?
Maybe at some point. The 12-team expansion is on hold, and for now, it says, Jason, until something is resolved with Pac-12. The College Football Playoff Committee announced that earlier in the week. In my opinion, you just you can't hold colleges and universities back, and so, at some point, that's going to be a ruling by a judge that, if they just won't be able to hold them back if they want to leave that bad, and I just think it'll happen at some point. What was you going to say, Mike?
Now, they're putting the plans for the expanded playoff on hold until they can figure out what's going to happen with Washington State and Oregon State, the Pac-2 at this point, right?
Is that right? Expanding the playoffs?
Well, no, they're going to, but what was it exactly that Jason said?
Let's see, that's last week. And I wish Jason happy birthday this week. We'll say it again live on.
Congratulations, Jason.
I think he turned 29.
Absolutely.
And holding me.
And holding.
But I don't know, Mike. We'll come back to that.
We'll come back to that. Okay.
If we have time, I'm just befuddled here.
Well, it might be. I don't know, but with the 12-team playoff, probably the Pac-10 is. Or 12, it's tied in with that next year.
That's right.
They're not going to be a Pac.
There's not going to be a Pac.
They're not going to be 12. We're going right now. What 2?
Yeah.
So maybe that's
probably what it is.
Whether they're somehow going to not allow them, with a 2-team conference.
And they played each other last week, so that was a championship game. So Washington State is the Pac-12.
I don't know if that's what it
mythical.
is, but that might be what.
At least at this point, the mythical.
We still don't know what the fate of those two teams is going to be, do we? Washington State and Oregon State as far as affiliation.
All right, it's time for a first break. We appreciate you tuning in to Sports Talk this morning. Glad to have Lenny in here for Brett this morning. We'll take a quick time out. Back with more here in just a moment.
First Federal Savings Bank has been serving Lincoln County since 1940. And as it has been from the beginning, customer service is a priority to First Federal Savings Bank. They want to get to know you by name. First Federal Savings Bank has the convenience, the products, and the services that the larger banks have, but with hometown people that you see throughout your community. Stop in and visit one of their 4 convenient locations and see what First Federal Savings Bank has to offer you. Member FDIC, an equal housing lender.
Dr. John Cloninger III is celebrating 25 years of practice here in Lincolnton. Dr. Cloninger's pedigree originates from his father, mother, and uncle and continues with his brother and cousin. The name is an icon in the field of dentistry. Dr. Cloninger has dedicated himself to his patients and community and continues to lead by example. He has heard his whole life, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree. He wants to sustain the family name and proceed by offering the best reasonable treatment possible. Dr. John Cloninger III, 904 Doncha Drive in Lincolnton. Call 704-735-0765.
Getting the kids to practice on time. Remembering if it's your day to bring snacks. Making it to the game with a clean jersey. Why are simple things sometimes so complicated? Thankfully, with Auto Owners, insurance doesn't have to be one of them. Auto Owners works with independent agents who answer when you call, so you can worry about more important things, like whether your kid is going to run toward first or third base. That's simple human sense.
Call Mooney Insurance in Maiden or East Lincoln Insurance in Denver or visit mooneyinsurance.com.
How to please the whole crew on game day? How about a 40-piece chicken McNuggets from McDonald's? Epically crispy, so juicy, so tender, and all the dipping sauces. Right now, 40 chicken McNuggets made with all white meat are yours for only $10.99. Well, yours and whoever you're watching the game with. My advice, double down on your defense because 40 chicken McNuggets disappear surprisingly fast. Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Prices and participation may vary. Cannot be combined with any other offer or combo meal.
Century Drug in Boger City is the first pharmacy in the area to offer peace of mind for you, your caregivers, and for your family with a convenient poly pouch, strip pouch system, just like the one you've seen on TV. No more sorting through and keeping up with your multiple bottles of medication. No more filling daily reminder boxes. No more calling in meds and worrying about refills. You'll receive all your medications once a month in a box that dispenses a convenient, easy-to-open strip pouch that is perfectly labeled for breakfast, lunch, bedtime, etc. Century will be the link between you and your doctor to assure you that your medication profile is up to date and refillable. In other words, Century Drug will do all the work. You just take your medications and be healthy and happy. Call or come by for a visit today. 704-735-2551. Century Drug, East Main Street in Lincolnton.
Tim Johnson here from WLON. Folks, if you are looking to buy a new metal building, let me tell you the place to go. Unrivaled Metal Buildings in Lincolnton. With over 20 years' experience, they specialize in metal carports, garages, RV covers, storage sheds, and more. They service over 40 states. They offer bank financing and a credit-free rent-to-own program. All of their units are engineered certified to meet local wind and snow requirements. Commercial sizes are available as well. Address is 2541 East Main Street, Lincolnton, or call 848-8676. Also, check their website out at unrivalmetalbuildings.com.
Welcome back. Sports Talk, David Keever, Mike Powell, Lenny Anthony with you today. Beautiful Saturday, great day for college football. Should be a great day. I think that the weather should be about the same tomorrow, right? Next chance of rain is like on Friday.
And it's pretty low then.
Yeah, it is.
20%.
Yeah.
Like that.
Well, you know, I looked at
the
phone. Sometimes the phone is phony weather, not phone weather, but phony weather. But they had 3 days of rain at one time on last week, and it barely drizzled one morning maybe. But, yeah, now it's not even showing the Friday rain now, Lenny. 77 next Friday, and no, it's kind of bad, though. No rain on here at all. So maybe it will.
Fall being dry normally past.
You know, I know we don't like rain. In a perfect world, it would rain like from 1 to 5 a.m. every day, 1 a.m. to 5 a.m. Not every day, but you know when it does do the rain.
When it's needed.
But
and something else we hadn't really had this season. We usually get a game or two, thunderstorm, lightning delays, that sort of thing in September.
Kiss of death, OKOD over here.
Well, you know, here's something that's rare too. This is normally this week's when the rain really comes because the fair's going on in Shelby, and that's normally it started. So you know, and they're talking about dry weather.
Yeah, I'd like to know when the Cleveland County Fair had a 10-day and 10 days.
This might be the first one in years,
and not have and it may not.
Yeah,
it may not. You know
that's right.
Yeah, fair.
Phony weather, as you said.
The storm clouds tend to follow the fairs. I bet. For whatever reason that is. Listen to Charles Barkley a little bit. I told Mike on yesterday on Dan Patrick. He's one of my favorites. And
me too.
Honestly,
he's so candid. I love that.
I think if I had a choice of having a celebrity guest on a show for an hour just to talk to, he would probably be my number one guy because he's not going to hold back on anybody.
No.
He's going to be comical and entertaining and knowledgeable. He knows a lot about all the sports,
right?
You know, but yesterday, I don't know why they were talking. Well, I do know why they were talking about concerts because the entire week has been nothing but Travis Kelce and and his new girlfriend.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep.
So, but that is that's what the entire.
What's the over/under on how long this relationship will last? I don't know.
That would be a great. I bet Vegas has got it.
I'm sure.
I'll bet you Vegas has got it. Is the over and under.
She generally, when there's a breakup, she generally follows up with an album.
Now,
so.
Oh man, but see now I already lost my train of thought on what I was trying to get to, but it was music related is what it was, and Dan asked Charles, said, "Do you remember the first concert you ever went to?" And Barkley said, "Yeah, I think I do." He said I was playing basketball at Auburn, and the coach at the time wanted to take, and remind me to tell you about Bo Jackson too in a minute. He said the coach asked me to take, wanted to take us all to do something out on an outing, and he took us to see Phil Collins. And he said, I didn't know who Phil Collins was. He said, I didn't know hardly anything about him. I heard the name and all that kind of stuff, but I didn't know anything. He said, but I got in there, and he said, like, every song come on, he goes, I didn't know Phil Collins sang that. That's Phil Collins. And he just kept on. He said it was really a good concert. And then he said, you know, they were talking a little bit. He's talking about how much growing up he liked Public Enemy. That was his best, you know, hip-hop band. And things like that. And then all of a sudden, he just, out of the blue, Dan didn't ask him, he said, but my favorite band is. There's your trivia question.
Oh, you said this was coming.
Hey, he told what his favorite band was, and
well, it's tough. It's
Yeah.
not in the. I get it.
The only thing
it's not in the hip hop.
well, I was going to tell you the only thing I can tell you for a hint right now is it doesn't really fall under. It's closer to Phil Collins than it is to the hip hop thing, but it's not even. It's
more pop than hip hop.
Yeah, it is. It is more pop. But it's classic to us too. I'll tell you that it's classic to us. So I thought when I heard that, he said
classic to us.
He says when he goes to see this band, he said he just is amazed at the amount of hits they've had. And he's just in awe. Yeah, I gave that part away. It's a band, not an individual. Although many of the individuals in the band have done a lot of solo work, so that ought to help you too. That ought to help you too. Trying to guess that, but yep, he's always a good interview. But one of the best things he says was, Dan has asked everybody this week who's better, who was the better two-sport athlete: Deion Sanders, Bo Jackson. Deion Sanders, Bo Jackson. And to be quite honest, I never heard one of them say Deion. Everybody that he asked this week, I'm sure I didn't catch them all, but all the guests he had this week said Bo. And they said it's because of Bo's, not only could he fly, but his power was unmatched. His power on baseball and football field was just very unique.
And I guess, this sounds crazy, but we never seen Bo very long either.
No.
In either sport. And I guess people think, well,
no.
what else could have been accomplished?
Yeah, that's true.
Right.
With him, it's what if kind of thing.
But the best line Barkley had about Bo Jackson was, Dan said something about, do you ever see him when there's things on campus? Barkley says, yes, I see him, like in a frustration. He said, let me tell you something, Dan. He said, when we go to these things like that, people will knock me out of the way to get to Bo Jackson. That he's that popular on that Auburn campus.
Right about that
they'll
time.
run over me.
Right about that time, I had an amazing run of multi-sport stars at Auburn with Barkley and Bo Jackson and Frank Thomas. But Frank Thomas played football at Auburn too. I think he's a tight end. I don't know how much he played.
What was Barkley's other?
Well, Barkley did, and I guess that was on what I did.
Because they asked Barkley about playing football, and you know what he said? He said, Dan said, did you play high school football? And he said, one day.
One day.
He said, them guys
One
hit.
day.
They like to hit. I played one day. Not for me. And then he started telling, he said, basketball players are soft. Yeah. He said, now we got some that, that'll get in there and bang around and stuff. He said, but not like those football guys. He said.
Speaking of Auburn, how many Heisman winners have come from Auburn University?
Yeah, I know two.
And?
Jackson won it, didn't he? Did Bo win it? Did Bo win
the
it?
Heisman?
Does Bo know?
I'm pretty sure he did.
I think he did.
I think he's in the commercial.
I know Pat Sullivan.
I know Pat Sullivan
did.
1971.
The only way I remember them now a lot of times is watching those. I don't even know what the commercial's for. It's a car.
Toyota,
Nissan.
Yeah.
The Nissan Heisman house.
I know Pat Sullivan did, but I know two. I know two, Sullivan and Cam Newton. I know them two did.
Right.
But I'm like you. For some reason, I'm thinking Jackson won it too.
I think he did.
I think he did.
I'll have to go back and look that one up. Roger has the correct answer to Barkley's favorite. Jason says Bo won it in 1985.
Roger has the correct answer.
Yeah, Roger has the correct answer.
Beatles.
Didn't take him long.
Bon
Jovi.
I'll tell you if you're right. You can keep guessing. I promise you I'll tell you if you're right. Bon Jovi, where'd that come from?
I don't know.
Well, it could be because he played a lot in Philadelphia.
And you said it's kind of pop. That was too kind of what the.
Oh, wait a minute.
Don't link Philadelphia with it. I said it could have been because they were both in Philadelphia. Don't link Philadelphia with it.
Don't link it with
it. No, I'm not telling you to do that.
There's been some big time soul
I could see where you come up with that answer is what I was saying. But
and it wasn't the Beatles.
And we got another Beatles guest here too, from Ned.
Yeah, that's what I'm guessing. But
later,
that's not wrong.
It's later than that. And if you really want a good hint, still active. So,
wow,
still active.
Still active.
Yep, still active. I could give you one better than that, but I'm not going to.
Still,
Aerosmith.
Hey,
That's rock.
that is rock.
That's more rock.
Yeah.
But they went.
They do have a little pop
kinda
though,
pop
because
there later on in there.
Yep, it is.
Still active.
Yep. Yeah, we asked the question last week, and Lanny got it right off about speaking of Aerosmith, Steven Tyler, they went to a movie and they got their next song, which was "Walk This Way" off of that Young Frankenstein movie. So that's pretty interesting.
Mike, I heard your song coming in this morning when I was flying.
What was that?
Has he got his own song?
Rolling Stones. It's only rock and roll.
It's only rock and roll.
Anything by the Stones is good.
Yeah.
That was one of your questions. You
That's
read
right, it was.
the lyrics. And
And I'm surprised you guys hadn't guessed them yet.
that must be the Stones.
Must be the
No, it's not. I just surprised you hadn't guessed them yet.
Well, one
He's
thing
baiting us on that.
That's right. It's a trick.
Well, they've done some solo things, but not as much as maybe some other
I can read this one because it's incorrect. Jason guessed. My guess is New Edition for Barkley's favorite
new
band.
edition.
Yeah, New Edition. But that's
Still active.
still not it.
Later than the Beatles.
Yeah, later than the Beatles.
A lot later or some later?
Here comes your best hint yet. We'll be in Charlotte very soon. I don't think it's already happened, but we'll be in Charlotte very soon. Got a date scheduled in
Eagles.
Charlotte. There you go.
Eagles.
There you go. The Eagles.
So
Now,
Barkley likes
you know,
Eagles.
when you said Philadelphia a while ago, I almost said their football team.
And you
The Eagles.
And you said all of them went off on their own, and they have.
Yeah.
Every
They
one of them
have.
have done.
Maybe all of them.
Henley,
but
Bry.
Boys of Summer
Meisner.
for Henley, yeah.
I like them all a lot, but my favorite's
even
Joe
the guy-
Walsh.
Joe Walsh, yeah.
But yeah, I thought that was interesting that it was the Eagles that happened to be his favorite band. Let's see. Looking at others from last night, Oregon State. Is this an upset or what? Oregon State knocking off Utah. I know it's 19 beating number 10, but I thought Utah was in position. They were all the way up to 10. I thought they were in position to make a run, and they have Southern Cal on the schedule. Okay. But Oregon State last night, and honestly, it's the first time I've seen these scores other than the NC State one. So that one surprises me a little bit. It was at Oregon State though.
Okay. Did the what's the quarterback Utah that hadn't been playing? What a name!
Cam Rising.
Cam Rising. I love that name.
Cam Rising. Yeah. Well, you always want your quarterback to be rising.
Big win for the Beavers.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
And and of course the quarterback for Oregon State is DJ.
The long name from
Ukulele.
Clemson.
Yeah, the Clemson guy.
Ukulele.
Ungulele or whatever.
Ungulele.
However you pronounce it.
And he certainly resurrected his career out
Yes.
there.
Wow. Big win, though. I will say that.
Huge
for
win for Oregon State.
For Oregon State. We already mentioned that Louisville knocked off NC State 13-10.
How
What did
about BYU?
Cincinnati and BYU were coming on after who?
35-27 since BYU.
BYU. Okay.
Spoiler alert, Mike gives it. Louisiana Tech 24, UTEP 10, and as Mike said, BYU's like 4-1, 5-1. Who beat them? You guys know who beat them? Because if they had won that game, they're probably in the top 10 or close to it. But BYU loses or wins over Cincinnati. I'm a little surprised that they were able to put 35 points up on a Cincinnati team. Was played in the Rocky Mountains though, out in Provo.
Cincinnati now 0-2, and it's.
I'm gonna be mad at you, Mike, if I don't get back to what I need here. But I am clicking on BYU just so I can see who it was. And the first thing I click, don't even tell me.
Lost to Kansas.
Well, that's a quality loss.
Yes,
it is.
Kansas is surprised.
And
that may be
that's a big game today.
Yeah.
Kansas and Texas.
That's right.
Yeah. Let's see here. Who is the Kansas coach?
Lance Leopold.
Lance Leo. That's right.
Leopold. Okay. So
I love the alliteration
I was
of his
wrong.
name.
Yeah, I do too. I was wrong. It's not Bill Self.
No.
He's staying indoors. But yeah, I mean, Kansas is trying to make a name for themselves. You know, they had a run a couple years ago.
Yeah.
When we start talking about this Texas back, these are the kind of games today that
these next
Yeah.
two.
getting the stumbling blocks for them.
These next two today, and then the Red River
And
rivalry.
the Red River. Yep.
Is that next week?
Next week.
Is it?
In
All of a
Dallas.
sudden, you didn't think maybe that Kansas, that would be a good game leading in. Now, all of a sudden, Kansas is an undefeated team, too. So you have
Yeah.
a couple of hard ones coming up.
If Texas wins these next two, I'd have to say they're back.
Right.
Penn State at Northwestern today at high noon. Southern Cal. I don't understand why. I know it's TV,
10
but this
o'clock.
is a 10 a.m. start in the Rocky Mountains.
And Boulder.
Number 8, Southern Cal at Colorado. Who you picking?
I'm picking Southern Cal.
Yeah, I don't think. I don't
Even though
think.
it's at Boulder.
I don't think they can get up enough to
Yeah.
overcome the talent
Right.
that Southern Cal
That's good.
is going to put on the
Playing in
field.
Boulders, that does help.
It does
Yeah,
help.
it helps,
It does
yeah.
help. It might save 10 points.
They still won't have Travis Hunter, probably the best overall player who plays
Right.
both ways.
I'll say this: I don't think Southern Cal's defense is great,
It's not.
No, they're going to,
Yeah.
and that's
so that gives Colorado a chance.
And that's kind of, I shouldn't say, that's kind of Lincoln Riley trademark.
just
Not a
a-
lot of good, never has been.
That's just it.
If his defense would ever, if he'd ever have any defense, he'd really, because he's going to put the points up, you know.
I mean,
Did I dream this? Maybe Jason can confirm. Did I dream this, or do we have the dream matchup? And this is it in this game? Is this where Jerry Rice's son plays wide receiver, and Deion's son plays cornerback?
I don't know.
Can you two Hall of Famers?
Yeah.
Maybe the two greatest ever at their position, arguably, and their sons will be one will be guarding, playing defense against the other today, or did I dream that?
I don't.
For some reason,
I don't know.
Jerry Rice's
We know-
son
we know
is somewhere that Colorado's going to play, and I don't know exactly if that's it or not. Let's see. Jason says Kansas, Duke, Kentucky, and UNC are a combined 16-0 on the season in football. Who would have thought these basketball blue bloods would become football schools? Well, they haven't yet, but
Yeah.
I don't think they ever will. But they are playing very good.
Speaking of
football
that,
right now.
Jason bringing that up, this week, the ACC has 6 4-0 teams.
Yeah.
And said that hadn't happened since but one time this late in the season. Hadn't happened but one time, and that was 2012 in the Southeast Conference. They had six teams 4-0, and that's going to change today.
Yeah,
because but Louisville extended it by winning last night.
Well, Syracuse is unbeaten going into the Clemson game today.
So
a lot of orange.
There's a
lot of
chance they
orange
could
there,
extend
baby.
it. Duke could extend
Duke
it.
could extend.
Where is I hadn't got to it yet. Where Clemson is at Syracuse, right?
Yes, it is.
And they always have problems.
They do.
They've had
They do.
problems.
That could be trouble
That's
again. Jason confirms, yes, Brendan Rice is a wide receiver for Southern Cal. He transferred from. Do you guys want to guess where he transferred from?
Yeah, Colorado.
Bingo. How ironic. He transferred from Colorado to go to Southern Cal and play on the West Coast. So Brendan Rice will be covered today by Deion's I can't remember which one is.
Is he a wide receiver too, the son?
Yes.
Rice.
Yes. Rice is a receiver and Sanders.
I believe is the defensive back.
I don't know why they name a son of Deion Sanders Shy.
Isn't that what's called Shy or something? Shay or Shy? Or
I do not think that anything about those Sanders boys. They might be though. I mean, you never know. Sometimes you turn out maybe like mom. I don't know. I don't know if she's shy or not. I think Rice's son is at Southern Cal. Deion's son Shiloh is a safety. That comes from Brett, and that is right. Jason just confirmed that for us. Butch Parker says, I'm sure everyone was watching Thursday night when Tulsa kicked the Temple Owls. But you know what? Not only did Kevin Wilson's team game, but they won twice in 5 days, didn't they?
That's right.
I mean, Saturday and Thursday, they put together wins. That's pretty good.
Yeah,
that's pretty good. After starting out 2 games with basically unwinnable games with Oklahoma and who was the other one that they opened with?
was it Washington?
Washington.
Yeah, Washington.
Well, good for Kevin Wilson.
Two top 10 teams that they played to start with, but now I'll put it this way: they're winning the games that are winnable for them.
That's right,
and that's a big step forward. for the program itself. Let's see who else we got today on our schedule. I can't help it. I mean, I'm going to watch some of Southern Cal and Colorado. I'm going to be tuned into that at noon because the schedule at noon, I'll watch some of Clemson and Syracuse as well. But the rest of it, I mean, Florida, Kentucky is just not that elite of a matchup. Although I think Kentucky at home against number 22 Florida, if I had to pick, I'm taking the Wildcats in that one. Texas A&M at Arkansas. No number by either team, so not ranked.
Doesn't Ole Miss
in these
LSU play today?
Ole Miss and LSU, a big game in the SEC West.
Well, this is just your 12 o'clock ones here.
I think that's a 3:30. I think.
Yep. Clemson, Syracuse. I'll just go through some of the highlight games. I'm not going to hit on all of them. What has happened to the Virginia program? They go to Boston College today. They're struggling quite a bit.
Well, the tragedy from last year.
I know that does not help.
Effect.
And they had a lead in that game when they honored those guys. They had a lead the whole game and then wound up losing to James Madison late in that game. So Virginia's at Boston College, along with Neil Young. Miami of Ohio will be at Kent State.
Oh yeah, 4 dead in Ohio.
Yeah, sad things are remembered. Sad things are remembered about Kent State. That's pretty sad.
Yeah, even 50 years later.
Yep. Yeah. California's at home to take on Arizona State. Number 1 Georgia is on the road at unranked Auburn. 3:30. That's the CBS SEC game of the week.
Any chance Auburn gives Georgia a game?
There's always a chance. There's always a chance. But how many points would you have to have in this game to take Auburn? That's a good way to look at it because it's a slim chance to me because Georgia's already had their awakening with South Carolina.
Yeah.
That woke them up. They were able to overcome it, able to win in a game that they could have lost by not being ready.
I think I read what's the quarterback, Carson Beck.
The quarterback.
This was his first real SEC road game in a tough place. They didn't know what kind of effect that would have, but they said Auburn couldn't score, but maybe the defense at Auburn would disrupt him some.
Now I'm wanting Mike to talk while I'm trying to get the computer straightened out, and he sits there.
Well, I mean, Hugh Freeze. Thank you. I think Hugh Freeze is he'll make Auburn relevant eventually. I mean, he's done it everywhere he's gone. He's just run into.
Just takes time.
It just takes time, but it's not going to happen today. I don't think.
There we go. I got it back. It scared me for a minute. It just.
How about Michigan at Nebraska? Wolverines.
Well, is it a trap game for me? I just think the talent level is so different here. So much different that they. Maybe I'm wrong. I hope that's not one of our vehicles with the alarm going off out there.
I know.
But
it's gone.
They cut her off.
Yep. That's what we want to hear. That's what we want to hear is silence outside and no alarms going off. Yeah, Michigan, Nebraska, that's a number 2 Michigan team taking on Nebraska today at 3:30. Honestly, I love watching games at Nebraska and that sea of red.
Oh,
I mean, it's just incredible.
Great place to watch a game.
And now they draw more for volleyball than they do than they do for football. Now, I would say it's probably pretty even. Probably both of them drawing 90,000 or so. I'm not sure the seating capacity of Nebraska's stadium. Just a long way from the Tom Osborne days.
Yeah, it is.
A long way from those Tom Osborne days. Number 3, Texas is at home to take on Kansas. We talked about that one. I think Texas wins by double digits.
Quite possibly.
Playing at home, as long as they're not thinking about next week.
They're not looking ahead. That's
because that will catch you. But I would just think they win by double digits in that matchup. Marshall's at home to take on Old Dominion. Baylor at Central Florida. What's happened to Baylor? Oregon with the probably maybe not the biggest win last night, but one of the last week, but one of the most talked about because they did beat Colorado. They go to Stanford. Ole Miss is at home take on LSU. Lenny's already mentioned that one. That's a 6 o'clock start, so the Bayou Bengal fans will have time to get right for a while. They like those 8 o'clock starts because they're beyond right.
That's right.
6, they could be ready for that by 6.
Yeah, they could. especially in that scorching Louisiana sun, right?
Yeah.
Or am I wrong? Is that game? Never mind. That game is in Mississippi.
Well, still scorching.
There'll be some there,
And
but
humidity.
there'll be some LSU fans there, just not 100,000.
No.
Let's see. This is the one that we talked about earlier, guys. Notre Dame at Duke, College Game Day. ESPN's crew will be there for that
Wait a minute, you didn't mention my Sooners.
matchup today. Did I skip them?
Yeah.
I hadn't seen it yet.
Iowa State, they host number 14 Sooners.
Okay. There it is. I did miss a ranked team.
Tuning up for the Red River Robbery.
What's Iowa State right now? Didn't they have a really good year last year?
No, they were terrible.
Was it last year they were terrible?
And of course, they had the scandal, the betting scandal with their quarterback.
Well, who was it last week that just demolished Iowa and held them under 100 yards of offense? You sent me some of the numbers,
Wasn't
Mike.
that Penn State?
I think it was.
It was.
76 yards of offense.
That's who it was.
Was it no first down?
How can a Power 5 team have 76 yards of offense?
Well, if you're
I guess you could look
your
at
OC,
Colorado last week.
If your offensive coordinator is Brian Ferentz, you could have.
Yep.
They've got to score 325 points this year for him to keep his OC job, and they're falling behind.
I know sometime in the second half last week in the Colorado-Oregon game, Deion Shadur, he was sacked for more yardage than they had in total yardage at one point in time.
Oh, wow.
Maybe one of the best points Deion made in a press conference this year is he told the opponents, "You better get me now."
Yeah.
Because I think they will bring in recruits. And,
they will bring in.
They obviously have a great coaching staff, and they're only going to get better. So he might be exactly right on that one. You better get me now because the talent's coming. And I agree with him.
I believe that.
I do too. Jason says Shiloh Sanders is the safety. Shiloh's a game-time decision on whether to play or not. When the team came back from Oregon, he had to go to the hospital and had blood in the urine. There's nothing shy about the Sanders boys, is what Jason says.
Well, here's the problem.
He is on top of that.
Yeah.
If they got him missing possibly and you don't have Travis Hunter, think what Caleb Williams, the Heisman winner, could do to their pass defense. Colorado's, that is.
Yeah. I think they were exposed a little bit last week. Oregon's a tough place to play. Oregon's a good football program and extremely good. I'm going to tell you right now, do all the Pac-10 teams play each other?
I think you do.
Yeah, I hope so because I want to see Washington and Oregon, and I want to watch that game from start to finish. Yeah. Because one of them teams should be in the playoffs.
I would love to see a Pac-12.
I don't know if they would both earn it, but you got Southern Cal in there too, though.
Yeah, that's right.
But I'm just saying one of these two right now. Southern Cal right now is the automatic one if we were, if we're going to put one in. But I think right now, Washington's resume a little better than Oregon's, or I don't know. Well, I really don't know.
I think the fun thing is you're going to get to see it played out on the field.
Yeah.
Rather than
that's right.
Yeah, that
coulda, shoulda, woulda stuff. That's.
Butch says, fun fact: Tulsa played the Owls Thursday, play Florida Atlantic Owls this week, and next Saturday, guess where they're at? Rice
Owls.
Or they're playing the Rice Owls. I don't know.
I was starting. Is Temple the Owls?
3 weeks in a row, you get your feel of Owls, and I'm guessing. I don't know. I didn't even honestly. I could if I'd have sat here long enough, I could have named them, but I did not. If you'd have said, "Do we have 3 college football teams in the country named Owls?" I would have probably said no.
I wouldn't have.
I would have probably
Florida
guessed
Atlantic.
No.
I would not have.
Me Owl.
But
even though they were in
Florida Atlantic, right?
Even though they were in, wasn't that the team in the Final Four basketball? I still wouldn't have got them.
Florida Atlantic Owls.
I wouldn't have got that when I could sit here all day.
Yeah, I know there's a lot of things in that are a lot of wildlife in Florida, but I've never put owls with the state of Florida.
Okay, for Roger's sake, South Carolina, Tennessee. Any thoughts on that one?
And Roger did guess the Eagles a while ago.
Yeah, got to give him his props on that.
Right. Yep. Well, Tennessee had that devastating loss to Florida a couple weeks ago. They always have trouble in the swamp, and they didn't win that game. They did bounce back last week, though, right? And
yes, I can't
and
remember. I'm trying to remember who.
And
South Carolina had a big win last week too.
And Tennessee, I saw them on here. Where are they ranked?
21st.
Is it 21st? So they are still in the rankings, but you know, I'm not sure they're quite as good as they were last year, but only time will tell. I mean, I can't really gauge it against the Swamp game because they've just historically had trouble.
Yeah, that's we even sit here the Saturday before that day and said, what's wrong with Florida? And
Butch says playing the Owls 3 weeks in a row is kind of freaky.
Yeah, that is.
Yeah, and I'll bet you don't even think about that when you're making the schedule. That
that's wow.
They probably did, like you guys, Florida Atlantic, maybe weren't even sure that they were the Owls. But don't know of any high schools that use that as a mascot. Do you? They do have some Eagles and a few Hawks, but I don't know. And just think about all the bird names there are through the Cardinals,
Speaking of
Blue
bird
Jays,
names,
Orioles,
Michigan State at Iowa. Ooh,
Hawkeyes.
Michigan State.
Spartan's not a bird.
They are in.
Who wins that?
That's what I want to know.
4-3.
Yeah, Iowa can't score.
The over/under in that game is 9.
Yeah.
I got to say Michigan State wins that game. Where's it being played?
Where's it at?
It's at Iowa.
I'm still going Michigan State.
I'm going
Iowa.
Iowa.
But yeah, when you get embarrassed like Iowa did, you're going to play different the next week.
Yeah.
So I could see where you're coming from.
I don't say Iowa, but I'm just saying the turmoil still at Michigan State and playing on the road.
Yeah.
And who were all the low numbers against last week? Penn State.
Yeah.
Penn State's defense is very good.
Is legit.
So it is. So that could be one reason that Iowa didn't have a better showing, and Michigan State's not gonna be able to put those kind of defenders on the field in Iowa's defense.
Charlotte at SMU, guys. So what do you think? SMU's pretty good program.
I think Biff needs to spend some money on Neil. Right? Isn't he the billionaire?
Yeah, he is.
Yes, that's what it is.
The only billionaire coach, unless the other one would be Saban.
And he don't let it bother him. He hits the field from sleeveless jerseys.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like what he'd have practicing.
He's doing a Bill Belichick on
That's
fashion.
right.
Before we take our time out, and we are at the halftime, I got to give you a couple more real quick. Mike mentioned Charlotte, SMU, Pitt goes to Virginia Tech, West Virginia at TCU. That could be entertaining and high scoring.
Yeah, Neil Brown's suddenly maybe saving his job at West Virginia, right?
Mm-hmm. I wish the game was at. I love watching games at West Virginia on TV.
Yeah,
It's just a beautiful setting. Appalachian goes to Louisiana Monroe. San Diego State at Air Force. Number 12, Alabama at Mississippi State. That is a 9 o'clock start here, so 8 o'clock in Mississippi.
Well, that's late.
So, yep, 8 o'clock. That's TV money.
Yep.
8 o'clock in Mississippi. Number 7, Washington goes to Arizona. That's on the Pac-12 channel at 10 tonight.
Who'd you say Washington there?
At Arizona, and you can't slip up and lose those if you're Washington. I'm praising them this morning, but yet that's the kind of game you.
And no disrespect to either one of those, but that's where the Colorado game should be. It should have come slot in there somewhere. I mean,
you'd rather have it at 10 o'clock p.m. than 10 a.m.
Yeah, I mean from a player standpoint.
Player standpoint, for sure.
Yeah,
I mean, I can sit there and watch it. Whenever they have.
And a fan standpoint.
Yeah, and the fans.
You really can't even settle in.
Well,
your seat.
and think, but here's the deal though: the Colorado game's on what channel?
That's
This is just a Pac-12 network game.
Is it ABC or Fox?
The other one we were talking about, though.
It is Fox.
Yep. So that's why they want to get Fox at that time of day.
Big 12.
Now, here's what you would have to change it with, though. Fox's night game is – I don't even see that they've got one unless I'm just overlooking it here. I do not see.
It might be a baseball game in there.
A Major League Baseball game?
Yeah, it's 7 o'clock.
Yeah,
that might be
why I don't show anything.
Fox a lot of times has a Saturday night.
And it is the next to the last day.
Yeah.
In Major League Baseball, right? So Washington at Arizona, Nevada at Fresno State is the final game on the list here. It is on Fox Sports 1. Fresno State game is at 10:30 tonight. Those 10:30 start times were meant for Lenny and Mike, not necessarily for Dave here. I can watch the beginning, but I'm going to fall asleep at some point. And most of the time, I am fortunate enough that I wake up and get to see the end of these games, and a lot of times they're close. And it's worth the wake up call. All right, we got to take a time out. Appreciate you tuning in to Sports Talk. We'll be back here with more in just a moment.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
Daryl Hatchett Family Dentistry is not just a name, it's the way you're treated the minute you walk in. A full-service dental practice with over 20 years' experience and lifelong resident of Catawba and Lincoln County. His commitment and caring run deep in the community. Located at the intersection of Highway 150 and Business 16 in Denver, he's convenient to where you are. Open Monday through Thursday from 8 to 5, so look no further for your dentist than Daryl Hatchett Family Dentistry. Call 704-489-9919 for your appointment or more information. Daryl Hatchett Family Dentistry.
Sooner or later, everyone wants to make their home dreams a reality. I'm sure you've seen the television shows and flip through magazines and you know what you want. Or then again, maybe you're not sure. You know that you want something different and something better. Get started today by contacting the building professionals at Key Builders in Lincoln. Visit the website at keybuildersnc.com and check out their many floor plans. There's one there for you and your family. Key Builders, locally owned and operated at 1459 North Aspen Street in Lincoln. See their page at whatsupshopper.com and like them on Facebook too.
Lake Electric Company was founded in 1984. They are licensed in North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and Virginia. Safety and quality is first in everything they do. For all your electrical needs, serving Lincoln County, Catawba County, Burke County, Mecklenburg County, and all the surrounding counties. When it has to be done right, call Lake Electric. Let them take care of your family. Lake Electric Company, 4362 Providence Mill Road, Maiden. Call 704-483-4000. Online at lakeelectric.com.
Hi folks, this is Will Poteet, president and co-owner of RE/MAX Crossroads. The real estate market is ever changing, but it's not too late to sell your home for a great price. If you're thinking about selling your home, give us a call at 704-736-1717 to speak with one of our expert agents. We would love the opportunity to earn your business.
At Mr. Sparky, we're America's on-time electrician. The electrical panel is the heart of your home's electrical system. Malfunctions can lead to hazards like fire or power outages, leaving your home at risk or in the dark altogether. Fixing it quickly will help keep you and your family safe. So trust our team of electrical experts at Mr. Sparky to get it done right and get it done safely.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in the respective state or county.
Well, that sounds like a stadium anthem, don't it? Something to get you going.
Mm-hmm.
Something to get you going in a football stadium, or for us in a radio studio here on a Saturday morning. Glad to have you folks with us. David, Mike, Lenny here talking about college football, one of the hotter topics. Can't wait for the 12-team playoff next year. There'll be so much anticipation by way more teams.
Oh, yeah.
Than usual.
Yes.
Yes, we're still going to have somebody that can argue they didn't get in.
Oh, yeah.
You know, I mean, because we have 68 with basketball, and we still have teams that argue.
Yeah. Do you think this eliminates the chance of a Group 5 team getting back in like Cincy did?
Why would it eliminate the chance? I mean, I think it increases.
Okay.
I would
just curious.
When you only have 4 and
I
you're
was
going
just
to 12,
saying, but the power conferences are just going to fill up their slots.
Well, that's probably.
I think you see one every year.
But I think you'll
you might
one open for.
Yeah, I think you might see one every year now.
Yeah.
Okay.
And right now we've just only had one.
As far as I know,
Cincinnati.
And now they're in the Big 12, so it doesn't matter.
I'm straight honesty here. I don't remember how. I know Cincinnati didn't win the semifinal game, obviously, because I don't remember them playing in the championship. But how did they fare?
They played Alabama. They were, not competitive. I mean, it was not a.
This might be the year they want to play Alabama.
It wasn't like TCU.
It wasn't like TCU in Georgia. It wasn't
like
that bad.
28-9 or something.
Yeah,
I'm just throwing
like
it
that. Yeah.
Okay, so.
And it might have been a little more.
Yeah, I would think. Okay, who do you think right now is the best non-Power 5 team?
I think Marshall's look pretty good.
Marshall's been,
I mean, I'm just wondering what you guys think. Who we're talking about here? Who we would consider, or who we wouldn't? I'll tell you this: I have to go a long way down the rankings. Georgia, Michigan, Texas, Ohio State. Stop me if I hit one in case I overlook it. Florida State, Penn State, Washington, Southern Cal, Oregon, Utah, Notre Dame, Alabama, LSU, Oklahoma, North Carolina, Washington State, Duke, Miami, Oregon State, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Florida, Missouri, Kansas. And at number 25, Fresno State.
Yeah.
So this is not the year.
No.
Of course, it's only a 4. It's only a 4-team bracket this year too. So it's good, really, for them that they don't have one in there that
I just
might
think it's
get
going to be
bumped.
really tough with all the teams from the SEC, Big Ten. I don't know.
Yep. You think whenever the guys do the rankings, they lean toward the Power 5s?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, probably so. Just looking here at others getting votes, just to say they'd be in the mix, it's still, I don't even, Air Force and Tulane.
Yeah, that would be.
Because you got K-State, then you got Louisville, Colorado, UCLA, Maryland, who's been a surprise this year.
Yeah.
They've looked pretty good. TCU, Tulane, Syracuse, Air Force, Wisconsin, Texas A&M, and Clemson. So no chance this year, in my opinion. No chance this year. Yeah, we don't ever talk about the FCS anymore, and one of the biggest reasons is we followed out so close. And once they got out of it, we haven't covered it near as much. But if you're wondering, I bet you can tell me who's ranked 1 and 2 in the country. You might not be able to tell me the order, but I bet you can tell me who's
North
ranked.
Dakota State.
1 and 2. And you got one of them.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be automatic. North Dakota State's number 2.
Montana.
Montana State is 3rd. I can't believe it. Come on, think. It's obvious. Who's number 1 or 2? Who's number 2? It ought to be obvious. North Dakota State's number 2. You got that one. Now give me the obvious answer.
South Dakota State.
Yes.
South Dakota State. Oh,
That's right.
I was thinking too hard.
South Dakota State. They were ranked 1 and 2, and haven't they been there for a long time now?
Oh yeah.
In that FCS, then Montana State, Bill and Mary comes in 4th. The younger people won't know who Bill and Mary is. Holy Cross, Idaho, Furman. So that's our
Southern
closest.
Conference.
That's our closest team to here that is ranked 7th.
I want to tout my Catamounts of Western Carolina 3-1, baby.
They're in the poll, number 21.
Hey,
they are in the poll. Number 21.
Considering where we've been in football,
yeah.
I'm elated.
Yep. I want to give these teams props just real quick. I'm going to go down. Starting at 5 is Holy Cross, then Idaho, Furman, Incarnate Word. I like to see that on a jersey.
I love that one, Incarnate Word.
Sacramento State, Southern Illinois. That's the Salukis. That's one of the best. To me, one of the best mascots.
That is a great. It's almost as good as a Chippewa.
It's a Saluki.
Yeah.
I mean, it made me want to go get a Saluki, but I didn't. North Dakota comes in at number 11 without the state at the end.
Ah.
Delaware, North Carolina Central, Weber State, Fordham, Montana, which Mike mentioned, Montana and Montana State both in the poll. Montana State has been a little better than Montana the last 4 or 5 years.
It used to be Montana.
It did. New Hampshire, Florida A&M, Youngstown State, UC Davis, Western Carolina. Mike definitely wants me to stop and pause on that one a minute. Chattanooga, Villanova, Harvard, and Eastern Washington. So, I was just looking at a few others.
Do you think there's any App fans out there that miss the old days?
I'll raise my hand. I love the playoffs. I mean, and that's selfish reasons. I just love the playoffs.
Lanny's going to raise his hand.
Not based on the amount of people went to Wyoming to watch them.
Well, that's true. Yeah, I saw Andy Leonard and Adrian Brewer at the Wyoming. Yeah, they took a crowd.
Should have been there.
Yeah. Oh, I don't think it slowed down the fandom any at all.
But it took them out of the.
But if I got to pick which one they were in, I would go back because I just love the playoffs, the home playoff games with a little snow falling and things like that.
And all they can ever do is just be satisfied with a middling bowl game.
Right.
I mean, I don't think that's necessarily a lot to play for in December.
Yeah, it's. I mean, it's.
I mean, I know it hadn't stopped the fandom, and they've done very well and been very competitive against Power 5 teams, but still.
They have. I mean, on average, they pull off a big upset a year. It just seems.
Well,
seems to happen.
I guess this is thinking positively. Once you get to a 12-team field, if they happen to, win their conference one year and happen to upset.
You're right.
One of them big teams. Could they
chance.
possibly? But they'd have to be like 11-0.
It'd have to be 11-0.
Yeah. Well, you know what?
Even then,
I was wanting to say who will be the first non-power to get in, but we already seen it.
Yeah.
With Cincinnati. But you know what?
And that was.
Won't Cincinnati be in a Power 5? When all this?
Yeah.
Oh, they're in the
reorganization.
they're already in the Big 12.
And I guess this is just me. Yeah, Cincinnati was not a Power 5, but yet they were in. Just below a conference that had known teams.
Right.
Now we're stepping down another level because the Central Floridas and the Cincinnatis and the BYUs, they done jumped into the Power 5.
Think about this and think it out. Does Cincinnati help themselves getting in Power 5 by getting in the playoff, or do they hurt themselves by, because if they have a dominant year in the division they're in, like they did, they got in. But now you're going to have to beat the likes of. Did you say Big 10?
12.
Big 12?
Big 12.
I don't know. It
still
the
gauntlet of teams you
with
play.
Oklahoma and Texas leaving, maybe.
Maybe.
I don't know.
They could.
Yeah.
And the fact that they take 12 instead of 4.
So you're taking out Oklahoma and Texas, and you're bringing in Arizona State, Colorado.
Yeah, Colorado's coming back.
Don't forget that.
Yeah, so that's
Hey, it's. Yeah, I know they've already made it with only 4 teams, but I really think it increases their chances of being in a Power 5. Just the 12 teams is what the 12 team. It's not the Power 5 that increases
because
it's the 12 teams.
They're in a conference where you're going to be considered every year. The conference.
The conference.
You're going to have to win it, but but that could happen.
That's right.
Yeah, I don't know if they're capable yet of going through 8 games of a Power 5 conference schedule.
Right.
That might be a little more than they can handle right now, but being in there and teams seeing them on TV.
And we both know the architect of their success. He's no longer coaching there.
That's right.
Oh,
Fickle. Fickle.
Yeah.
Luke
Fickle.
Where'd he wind up?
He's at Wisconsin.
Is
he?
Yeah.
All right, and then the basketball coach that was good, did he take them to the Final Four or Elite 8 or something a couple years ago? What was his name, and where is he now?
Cincinnati. You're talking about, the guy it's UCLA was there.
Yeah,
what's his name?
That's
Mick Cronin.
Mick
Cronin was
REO Speedwagon.
Yeah. So Cincinnati's had 2 outstanding coaches that left for Power 5 jobs.
Yeah. Well,
it really had several.
Yeah.
Because
Higgins, Huggy Bear.
Yeah. If Huggy Bear left, anybody can leave, right? Yeah. Because he was.
Bob Huggins.
Where was he from? Which college did he attend?
West Virginia.
Well, that's what I was thinking. So
that's
a no-brainer. And go back to West Virginia.
And listen to this: Phi Beta Kappa.
Really?
If you look at him, you say, "No way."
I know.
But
you look at him.
Well, he's one of those guys that can take an Armani suit and make it look bad.
Yeah. when he wore them. He literally quit wearing them.
I'm gonna say he never wore one.
That's a good line.
But yeah, I mean, he
make an Armani suit look bad.
But when you were talking about a run of coaches, I was thinking. I thought we was talking about football. They've had a good run of football coaches that have because Fickle and one guy now at LSU, wasn't he at Cincinnati? Before he before Notre Dame, wasn't he at Cincinnati?
He was.
I think so.
Yeah.
And then Doug Jones. Was it Doug Jones? Was it Tennessee? He come from Cincinnati. Doug's, I believe it's his name. I don't know if it's Doug Jones, Doug something. But so they've had a run of football coaches too.
Hey, college football. I don't know if it's as good as it ever been, but it's pretty good right now.
It's great this year.
And
sure.
Compared to next year, though, it's not great.
No.
Because next year is when it hits great status, when we have 12 teams.
When you got 12 teams.
Yeah. I think that.
But I think in some ways, what you're saying, it's still, you're what, a third of the way in, 5 games in.
I think because of the Pac-12 and what they've done.
But this year, to
me, Deion's a story.
It seems more wide open. There's I'm sure the Georgia and them will probably, just like to me, Georgia looks a little vulnerable to me, Yeah. But as the year goes on, teams are going to get better.
But what they do is they keep winning those one possession games or those single digit
and you
wins.
Keep developing. Players keep coming. That didn't have experience. Will have experience.
One thing we know about Georgia, though, they're going to have to win a national title with a different quarterback.
Exactly.
That's right.
That's the big question.
Won't have their 30-year-old guy back, or however old he was.
Who, by the way, what's the deal with him? I mean,
can't make the NFL, right?
Well, I don't know whether it's that. They put him on not injured reserve, just reserve.
Well, let me ask you this: when these two guys were drafted. What's his name? Why does his name slip my mind? Stetson Bennett. And think about on the other side with Trey Lance. Trey Lance, to me, I know he wasn't on the Georgia team, but he was a far better quarterback on draft day. Ranked a lot higher. It didn't work out for him.
Right.
No.
How can it ever work out for Stetson Bennett in the NFL?
I know.
Yeah. Right.
I don't know. Matthew Stafford. Is that a Georgia quarterback that made it big time? And maybe you have to go back to Fran Tarkenton before that.
Yeah, they really haven't.
The guy at Chicago, he was at Georgia before he was.
Stop right there. You ruined it. You said Chicago. Chicago hadn't had a quarterback since.
State Fields.
Well, McMahon was serviceable, but he was surrounded by elite talent. Elite NFL talent. And he won a Super Bowl. The Bears, they are who we thought they were, Mike. They're just a bad franchise. A bad franchise.
We got a bad game this weekend, Bears. Denver versus Chicago.
Somebody's win.
Yeah.
Somebody leaves smiling. There again, the over-under, and that one's 4. Which way you going when the over-under is 4? A lot of high school football played last night. Let's start checking those scores. I'll try to keep it. Most of it in the West, unless I see something very
wait
interesting.
A minute, I want that Cape Fear.
We'll get you the Cape Fear. Okay. I think they lost, Mike.
Oh.
Or maybe it was last week they lost because they were undefeated and lost. I think it was last week. West Stanley defeated Piedmont 35-12 last night. West Charlotte, number 9 in the state of North Carolina, and they're a 3A. You got to watch out. I'm telling you, they're going to make noise in the 3A playoffs. 56-20 last night over Hopewell. West Charlotte continues to play very well. I do want to give this one because these two teams down east are always pretty good. Nash Central 28, Rocky Mount 10 in that game. Rolesville rolled over Wakefield 58-0 on Friday night. Anson County beat Parkwood 34-27. Let's see. Butler High defeated East Mac. Butler ranked number 4 in all of North Carolina. They roll over East Mac 58-0 on Friday night. The Caballo Stallions fall to Lake Norman Charter. Lake Norman Charter wins 26-14. Leesville Road in Raleigh wins over Sanderson 21-14. J.M. Robinson 49. East Rowan 0. Wake Forest High 49-0 likewise over Knightdale. last night. Charlotte Catholic bounces back from a thumping they took a week ago, 35-10 to who was that got them last week like that? Maybe Mallard Creek or somebody like that. Anyway, Charlotte Catholic wins last night 41-7 over Rocky River. I'm guessing that's a conference game at this point in the season. TC Roberson 58-13 over Inca. Those two schools are not very far apart. Central Cabarrus loses to South Rowan. South Rowan 29-26 winner in that game. Huff beats Westmeck last night 51-0. Wasn't it Huff that last week beat Dutch Fork?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
The Fighting Reinhardts.
Got the kicker.
Huff, I don't know. They're ranked 8th, which shocks me because I think they're top 3 in the state of North Carolina. Maybe they got a loss that on their schedule from an out-of-state team or something. I don't know.
Yeah, they played couple good teams.
I thought
It's
did.
got to be that. Yeah.
Yep. Won't hurt them too much, though, heading into the playoffs. Might cost them a home game, though.
Yeah.
Down the stretch, wherever you're ranked in those Max Prep rankings goes a long way. West Forsyth defeated Kernersville Glen 46-13. Ardrey Kell over Berry Academy 45-0. AC Reynolds. I think this win just pushed AC Reynolds to 4-3, if I'm not mistaken, or something like that. Maybe
over
even 3-3. But they have played a very tough schedule. AC Reynolds wins 28-14 over Asheville. Mike, do you know the two nicknames of those two schools, AC Reynolds and Asheville, without hovering over them when reading it?
The Rockets is one of them.
That's the Rockets. AC Reynolds is the Rockets.
What's Asheville? Wildcats?
Close.
Bobcats.
Cougars.
Cougars.
Yep, Asheville Cougars. McDowell over North Buncombe in a high-scoring game, 38-36 on the road. McDowell gets the win last night. Palisades falls to South Meck. South Meck 35-0 in that one.
Is that way down in Palisade Park?
It is. It is. I'm sure it is. But it's way. I think it's way down in South Mecklenburg County. Yeah. But that's about as far as you get.
Okay.
This has been a good game to be at last night, although it's 55-0. It was in Manio, out on the Outer Banks. So.
Music trivia question.
One hit wonder.
Palisade Park?
Who recorded Palisade Park? I don't even know the song unless I heard it maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Sounds like something that Donna Summers would.
No. It's not disco.
60s, okay.
We're done in Palisade.
Oh, my. Individual or group?
Individual.
Let me see.
You think about it. I'm giving scores. You think you got a guess? Blurt it out. North Henderson over Tuscola, 42-32. What is it?
Give me a second to materialize it.
I got an idea. Or actually, I don't have an idea.
Glenn, it's the same group that did.
And you didn't either.
The Rain to Park and other things, right?
He said it was an individual, not a group.
Oh, it's an individual, not a group?
Mallard Creek beat North Meck last night, 34-7. Forest Hills falls to Monroe. This was a very highly anticipated game.
It was.
And
two unbeaten.
And Monroe shuts them out last night, 28-0.
Did you hear
those schools aren't but about 8 miles apart.
The game was called at the end of during the third quarter, a fight.
Oh no!
Multiple fights.
Imagine that. Imagine that. Oh, in the stands.
In the stands,
okay.
yes.
Good. Well, not good, but
coaches,
better than players.
And the coaches were in agreement with it. I mean, it was.
Well, you'd had to resume the game had it been
suspended, but then they said
if it was
would
within
not be completed.
If it was within 2 possessions, I think you got to go back and finish it,
Yeah.
but not like it is 28-0. It had been decided. I would think. I just wonder if it was fans from the same team fighting each other, and I'm going to bet it was on the Forest Hill side because Monroe's up 28-0. You know,
they didn't elaborate.
On the home side.
Yeah, well, the home side.
Stands and concessionary.
Okay, that's Monroe then.
Yeah.
So it was Monroe on
they
their
were the
side.
home team,
and you're winning 28-0, and you got something to fight about. Hate to see them when they lose. That's for sure. Roger's got a guess, Lanny, and if he's right, I never heard of the guy.
Okay.
Freddie Cannon?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Good job, Roger. He's hitting it today.
He's got a computer in front
He's
of him.
hot.
Still don't know who he is.
He said trivia guess.
To
Trivia
Mike's
guess.
Hey. It was covered by Gary Lewis in the playbooks.
Was it?
Covered it later.
Gary Lewis and the
Gary
Lewis
Playboys
and
covered
the
that
Playboys.
song.
Lewis
But
and
hey,
That's who I was.
congrats to
That's
Roger.
what I
We got to get
said,
Roger a T-shirt. Freddie
one coming.
Cannon. Freddie Cannon. I like it.
What do you
Freddie
think?
Cannon. I don't
Gary
know
Lewis
him.
and the
Don't know him.
Playboys. What's their biggest song?
Green Grass is one of them.
This diamond ring doesn't
Diamond
mean what
Ring.
it did before.
Oh, my goodness. Mike knows all about diamond rings.
That's right.
Let's see here. Garner defeats Willow Spring 14. Y'all don't choke on that. Chambers over Harding. You want to hear this one? 72-0. It's just been a few years since Harding won a state title, hadn't it? They won one a few years back in it was like in 3A maybe or something. I can't remember exactly.
They did.
Yeah. Ashley over New Hanover 14-7.
And I kind of believe the guy at West Charlotte was there. I think was the coach. I think
Okay.
Sam Griner. I believe was the.
That was the name of the coach.
Yeah,
that was the
and
name
he's
of
at
the
West
coach.
Charlotte now.
Well, look what he's doing with that program now. He's putting them right back on the map. Burlington Williams beats Eastern Alamance 36-35. Southwest Onslow over Kinston 56-18. Mountain Island Charter beats Winston-Salem Prep 36-12. Northwest Cabarrus, Mike, they still undefeated 49-9 last night over West Rowan.
I know.
That's a pretty good win right there. Just to
so.
win the game, much less as convincingly as they did. I'm telling you, there's a lot of playoffs I want to follow. Roger says, I knew it, no computer. So good. I like it. I like it. He's getting a T-shirt.
He the man.
Yes, exactly. I always want to try to guess it first, and if I can't guess it within a minute or two, then I go. And,
By the way,
and
Northwest
pull it up.
Cabarrus is 6-0 and 3-0 in the South Piedmont 3A.
What did we get there? We got to add.
It's gone.
Oh, that's Mike, not you, Lenny.
There's an ad that popped up on
He's good for one a week.
It popped up on Max Prep, so what can I say?
They do that sometimes.
Yeah, you know how it is.
Yeah, they do. If you look up a team or something, you're going to get an ad.
You're going to get an ad. Okay.
Greensboro Dudley last night over Ben L. Smith, 77-6. In that game, it was Laney over South Brunswick, 52-0. Northern Nash, the team that lost to East Lincoln last year in the state championship game, I think they're undefeated right now, Mike. They're ranked 16th overall in the state. They won last night 44-0 over Roanoke Rapids. I don't know if it's going to be their year or not because the West is so powerful in 3A, but you got to give them maybe the edge to get there from the East
very possible
for a second consecutive year. Carson defeats Concord 12-9. Davie County in a slugfest outscores Reagan 54-21 last night. That one was at Reagan. I think Reagan's in the Greensboro area, if I'm not mistaken. Wallace Rose Hill over North Lenoir 65-6. Independence over Garinger 65-0. Farmville Central wins in football 38-8 over Washington last night. Got some more text coming in, rolling. I'll get to those in just a minute. Independence, I think I gave that one over Garinger, 65-0. Cuthbertson loses to Sun Valley. Sun Valley 7-0. In that one, I'm trying to find West. Cox Mill defeats A.L. Brown, 38-27. Here's your one from the East. Greenville Rose over Northside Jacksonville, 36-6. Keenan over South Lenoir, 56-6. James Keenan always pretty strong in high school football. Hickory Ridge 50, South Iredale 27. Sun Valley beats Cuthbertson. I think we already saw that one, 7-0.
Yeah.
It's on here twice. Northeast Guilford beats High Point Central 47-0. Mooresville, I saw a few highlights on this one. Mooresville looked pretty good, 42-0 last night over Providence. Perkelman's over Washington County 34-28. Shelby over Highland Tech 72-0. I'm sure it's running clock second half. Feel bad for Highland. It was 64-0 at the break.
Yeah.
Porter Ridge over Marvin Ridge 35-10. Tarboro continues to win 49-6 over Bertie. R.J. Reynolds falls to Parkland last night in Winston-Salem. Parkland 28-27. Tight game over Reynolds. Lake Norman beats West Cabarrus 26-23.
Are they still undefeated?
Lake Norman? That is a good question, Mike. One that I can.
No.
Yeah.
Last game of the season, Mooresville against Lake Norman.
Mooresville and Lake Norman in week 11.
Yeah, that's where my granddaughter goes to high school.
Wow.
Pulling for them.
Yep, I bet you are. Beargrass Charter, a winner again. They beat Hobgood Charter 68-32. 100 points in the game last night. North Rowan over East Davidson 47-12. East Forsyth beats Mount Tabor, 1-point game, 21-20. Bunker Hill defeats West Lincoln. We're going to come back to this one, let Mike talk about it a little bit. 21-15 in the big game last night for first place. Now everybody in the conference has a loss in the CVAC except for one team.
Except for one team.
After just 3 weeks. That's pretty impressive. Pretty even, pretty balanced conference. High Brighton 35, Freedom 33 in a slugfest there. I think Freedom led in this game late, but High Brighton with a late score to win the game. Starmount 56, North Stokes 10. Swain County over Andrews 20-0. Ashbrook defeated North Gaston 21-13. Oak Grove over Ashboro 57-14. Forbush downs Elkin 33-20. Newton Conover over East Burke last night. Only game me and Mike had different last night, and Mike got it. I told him at halftime, what'd I tell you?
Your team is up at half, they'll lose.
Every time if we've got one different and my team is up at halftime, they fall in the second half.
So now in the overall, I'll go up 3 games.
3 on me. You sure do.
3 on you.
3-game lead on me. I'm going to have to get some inside information here. Hickory over St. Stephen's. Hickory remains undefeated, 50-7. East Rutherford wins last night over Patton, 58-6. Mountain Heritage wins at home over Owen, 59-22. East Surrey 25, Wilkes Central 7. Richmond County, they do get a win this week, 41-0 over Hoke County. They've had their struggles the last year or two. Allegheny over South Stokes, 31-14. Whiteville falls to West Columbus. West Columbus last night. Lanny might have to come fix something. My elbow just hit the wrong button. I don't know why I'm typing with my elbow. West Columbus beats Whiteville 26-20. Reedsville over McMichael 34-18. Thomas Jefferson falls to East Gaston. East Gaston still undefeated?
Yep.
I do believe. 56-3 last night. Hendersonville falls to Chase. Chase wins 40-19. Boy, this one for a long time looked like East Lincoln were going to lose their 3rd straight.
It did.
They were down 10-2, I think it was at the half. Had not got into the end zone except for a safety. And last night they come from behind, give West Iredale their first loss, 24-17.
One thing about that game, I was, I guess I was watching on Football Friday night, but they had some footage of the game, and it seemed like East Lincoln had another quarterback in there. It was not.
Yeah, it was Bowling.
Yeah,
Bowling was at quarterback last night for
what
East Lincoln. He definitely was. Mike, they definitely made a change.
Yeah,
but I don't know if it was injury forced or
something else
or what it might have been. But I got it back. I got my computer back now, Lanny. I'm good. I'm ready for the next set of spots. That's the main thing, getting those things set up and ready. Let's see. Hunter Huss, after defeating South Point last week in a shocker, Huss had lost 3 in a row, and they beat South Point. And then South Point goes into the Crest game last night, and the first half they just roll up like a 20-point lead and still fall in that game. We'll get to that score in a minute, I'm sure.
When has South Point ever given up 61 points?
I don't know.
Wow.
When they played Dudley 2 years ago.
Okay.
It was 70-something in that playoff game because then they scored 70-something last year. And I'm pretty sure they gave up 70 in the playoff game, but I'm not sure.
Right.
You'll have to ask Sean Payton. He's a pro at giving up 70.
Oh, yeah.
And a pro at giving up 70. Let's see. North Surrey beats North Wilkes 62-8. Graham defeats Chatham Central 26-14. Here's another 2A team to watch when the playoffs roll around. Burns, they roll over Bessemer City last night, 42-7. I think I did see some highlights of that one last night.
I think Burns, Bessemer City scored first.
I think they did. Didn't lead long though.
Nope.
Let's see. We got Lincoln beating Bandies. Lincoln fell behind 21-7 in this game, Mike, but they outscore Bandies the rest of the way, 50-8. To win last night, 57-29. A whole lot more points in that game than I anticipated. North Iredale falls to North Lincoln. North Lincoln, I think they were up 53-0. It ends 53-14. North Lincoln looking really good, really sharp last night in that conference game. Ashe County over Alexander Central. I got that one backwards. This one went to overtime. I remember seeing they were in the first overtime, and I don't know if it went multiples because it don't tell here. But the Alexander Central wins it in overtime over Ashe County, 41-35. West Stokes beats North Forsyth 15-2. Western Guilford falls to Grimsley. Grimsley, the number 3 team in the state of North Carolina, 55-0 last night in that game. Kings Mountain rolls over Forest View 49-7. Let's see. Give me West, please. Pisgah beats Franklin 35-0. Watauga rolls over South Caldwell 49-7. Ledford beats Central Davidson 33-27. Polk County over RS Central 43-12. And here you go, Mike. 110 points in the game, and Crest had 61 of them. 61-49 last night. Crest defeats South Point, and probably the highest scoring game ever in that series, I would think. They were getting beat by 2 or 3 touchdowns. They were down 2 or 3 touchdowns and came roaring back to win that game last night. Statesville, I still want to keep an eye on those Greyhounds, man. They're really starting to play, come into their own, and put wins together. And they beat North and East Lincoln both. And if I'm not, I don't remember. We did the North and Statesville game last year, and I don't remember who won. I remember it being like 14-9.
Statesville won it.
Statesville won it, so they beat North 2 years in a row.
Yep.
But watch out, that Statesville Hickory game at the end of the year.
That's going to be for the
title. It is, and I don't know where it is, but that might play a part, in the outcome. Mount Airy over East Wilkes, 42-0. Again, Mount Airy, another shutout. What did they give up, Mike? It was 7 points going into last week. I think they gave up maybe 14 or so last week to Starmount.
So it's
14, 13,
21 for the year.
Still a dominating defense. Here's the game Mike and I both missed. Drone defeated Mitchell County 57-42 on the road at Mitchell County.
I looked at the results of both teams through the season.
Yep.
It just seemed like Mitchell was the better team.
Yep. Evidently, Drone had a better resume as far as strength of opponent, as I'm guessing. But to go on the road, though, and win that game, Drone's been pretty solid. They've been pretty solid so far in the first 6-7 weeks of the high school football season. Randleman 36-7 over Wheatmore. Cleveland over Fuquay 47-0. Northern Guilford over Southwest Guilford 38-20. Northern Guilford, home of the wide receiver for the Chargers. What's his name?
Last week, Keenan Allen.
Keenan Allen. Thank you, Lenny. Northwest Guilford over Page 14-7. Thomasville beats West Davidson 47-0. Rosman falls to Madison. Madison 36-12 in that win. Fayetteville 71st, Mike Powell, takes care of Cape Fear last night.
Max Cady unhappy.
12-7 in that win last night for let me send something real quick here. It's got to go. For 71st, Fayetteville 71st. North Davidson beats Montgomery Central 24-7 last night, high school football. Mike, hold your thought just a minute. We're up against the break. We need to run that one final commercial set. We'll come back and let you talk about that big game last night up at Bunker Hill.
At Mr. Sparky, we're America's on-time electrician. The electrical panel is the heart of your home's electrical system. Malfunctions can lead to hazards like fire or power outages, leaving your home at risk or in the dark altogether. Fixing it quickly will help keep you and your family safe. So trust our team of electrical experts at Mr. Sparky to get it done right and get it done safely.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888. Sparky.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in the respective state or county.
If you ask around, you'll find Burke Mortuary has a reputation for excellence and commitment to value. They've built a reputation of trust for more than 35 years. Burke Mortuary is proud to offer personal attention, meaningful tributes, and the area's most affordable prices. They're also proud to offer you beautiful, state-of-the-art facilities. It's the perfect place to honor your loved one. So when choosing a funeral home, the choice is easy. Choose Burke Mortuary with locations in Maiden and Newton.
Daryl Hatchett Family Dentistry is not just a name, it's the way you're treated the minute you walk in. A full-service dental practice with over 20 years experience and lifelong resident of Catawba and Lincoln County. His commitment and caring run deep in the community. Located at the intersection of Highway 150 and Business 16 in Denver, he's convenient to where you are. Open Monday through Thursday from 8 to 5, so look no further for your dentist than Daryl Hatchett Family Dentistry. Call 704-489-9919 for your appointment or more information. Daryl Hatchett Family Dentistry.
Sooner or later, everyone wants to make their home dreams a reality. I'm sure you've seen the television shows and flipped through magazines and you know what you want. Or then again, maybe you're not sure. You know that you want something different and something better. Get started today by contacting the building professionals at Key Builders in Lincoln. Visit the website at keybuildersnc.com and check out their many floor plans. There's one there for you and your family. Key Builders, locally owned and operated at 1459 North Aspen Street in Lincoln. See their page at whatsupshopper.com and like them on Facebook too.
Lake Electric Company was founded in 1984. They are licensed in North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, and Virginia. Safety and quality is first in everything they do. For all your electrical needs, serving Lincoln County, Catawba County, Burke County, Mecklenburg County, and all the surrounding counties. When it has to be done right, call Lake Electric. Let them take care of your family. Lake Electric Company, 4362 Providence Mill Road, Maiden. Call 704-483-4000. Online at lakeelectric.com.
Hi, folks. This is Will Poteet, president and co-owner of RE/MAX Crossroads. The real estate market is ever changing, but it's not too late to sell your home for a great price. If you're thinking about selling your home, give us a call at 704-736-1717 to speak with one of our expert agents. We would love the opportunity to earn your business.
At Mr. Sparky, we're America's on-time electrician. The electrical panel is the heart of your home's electrical system. Malfunctions can lead to hazards like fire or power outages, leaving your home at risk or in the dark altogether. Fixing it quickly will help keep you and your family safe. So trust our team of electrical experts at Mr. Sparky to get it done right and get it done safely.
You don't have to put up with any malarkey. Call 888-8-SPARKY.
Independently owned and operated, licensed in the respective state or county.
Welcome back. Glad to have you with us. Last 10 minutes or so of sports talk this morning. Let me remind you, and then we're going to let Mike talk about the game we saw last night a little bit. Football pick'em contest in the Lincoln Times News. Matchups are in Thursday and Monday for the following weekend. It's free to sign up. It's $100 for the winner. You got 5 high school, 5 college, 5 NFL matchups. Winner gets $100. Pick up a paper, make your picks, mail it in. Drop it off at the office. Email contest. It's pretty easy to remember. Contest at LincolnTimesNews.com. Denny Hoover, the winner of last week's contest.
Do we know his record?
Yeah, I've got it on a sheet.
Okay.
Do we know if he's buying breakfast? I didn't care about his record. Let's see. All entries have to be in by 1 p.m. on Thursday to be eligible. 1 p.m. on Thursdays before the weekend of the games in order for you to be eligible.
So far as
pretty simple.
Greg Bradley won it one.
I'm seeing a lot of familiar names.
Yeah.
On that coming in, so it's a good thing.
Pretty good.
Denny went 12-3.
Good.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Greg Bradley went 10-5.
Greg Bradley won it with a 10-5.
Danny Harbison week 1 went 13-5. 13-2.
13-2 to start.
So Denny Harbison has been the best so far. Okay.
Oh, no, wait. Well, maybe the matchups were tougher, Mike. I understand. Yeah, he is the all-time single-week leader, though. He is I'd like to see if they kept a cumulative total of all the people would enter and see how they do it. That's too much work. That's a lot of math. That's a lot of math, I understand. Hey, Bunker Hill, Mike, the only undefeated team in the CVAC after defeating West Lincoln last night in a very hard-fought game. As you and I were exiting last night, we had the opportunity to speak with both coaching staffs. We ran into Bunker Hill, then we ran into West Lincoln, and I got to talk to both of them a little bit. I think, I don't think either team had anything negative to say about the way they played and everything. It's just Bunker Hill came out on top.
Both teams played well. I know when we were talking to the West Lincoln staff, they did point to the fact that they only had the ball twice in the
two possessions in a half.
And that's tough.
Two possessions,
They got the tables turned on them. I mean, normally West Lincoln wins time of possession, and last night Bunker Hill just sort of was able to do that with their running. It rushed for about 200 yards.
West didn't allow the big play, but they couldn't stop them from getting first downs.
Couldn't stop them from
grinding them out.
Kept that defense on the field, and that was the thing. Rebels only two possessions. And on those two possessions, I thought it was key. They had a 55-yard run by Caden Smith that got him into the red zone, but then they had a 15-yard personal foul penalty on one of their two possessions in the second half, and that really set them back, had to punt. And then on their second possession of the second half, got down inside the 5, but on that play, holding penalty. Put them back to the 19. Yep. Then they just started going back from there. There was a sack, 4th and 23, and so that was it.
Both teams were penalized quite a bit, Mike. I know Bunker wound up over 100 yards.
Yeah, I had them 13 for 101. Now, the Rebels had moderate, but they came at such
critical times. Well, you know what? It's all critical times in a game like that. I mean,
every possession is valuable.
Yep.
I thought another thing, I thought Bunker Hill's defense did a really good job on Jalen Winnix, the breakaway threat for the Rebels. He had a pretty quiet night. He had a big 32-yarder early, but after that, they just really controlled him. I had him with 9 carries for 46 yards.
Yeah,
and he's been getting
that's moderate.
He's been getting 150.
32 in one carry.
Yeah, and so he got those early. Now, Caden Smith had a pretty good game. He had 13
and he
carries.
got injured, too.
He had 13 carries for 142, but they didn't get that same production out of Winnix, and you got to give credit to Bunker Hill's defense.
Yep, very good pursuit by
they
that
did
team.
Really pursue.
Gang tackling.
Yeah.
I think I missed this score. I don't think I gave Maiden and West Caldwell.
I
don't remember giving. Maiden rolled over West Caldwell. They bounced back from their first loss of the season, but they rolled over West Caldwell last night. Thanks to Mike Painter for keeping me updated all night on that game as well. 51-7, Maiden wins at home over West Caldwell. So,
hey, how about a big shout out to North Lincoln bouncing back last night with an easy win, smashing North Iredell.
They did, and I thought you and I both thought that would be maybe a one possession.
I thought that'd
game.
Be a one touchdown, one possession game.
And I did want to mention this one too because I got some stats last night. A quarterback, Andre Boss, 292 yards rushing last night from the quarterback.
Is that the
position.
most ever by a LinkedIn quarterback?
No,
that's what I want to know. No.
Mm-mm. No, because I got asked that last night, and I remembered.
Oh yeah, Brandon Wilson.
There you go. Over 300 in a playoff game against Polk County.
That's right.
Yep. And I think Tyshawn Harris might have broke his record, but I'm not 100% sure.
But Tyshawn didn't play quarterback.
No, but I mean just as a rushing record. But yeah, 292. He had 260 in the first half, and I'm pretty sure that is a record for a half.
No doubt.
Didn't run it quite as much in the second half, but that was a weird football game. I wasn't even there, and I could tell by the updates I was getting how strange that football game.
Bandys was just delivering bombs.
Dominating.
21-7, throwing bombs for touchdowns, and all of a sudden.
Yep. East Lincoln wins their contest. North Lincoln wins. Lincoln wins. Maybe the first time this year. It is the first time this year that West Lincoln would be the only loser because it's their first loss. It has to be the first time that they're the only loser in the county. But then you had Hickory, you had Maiden, Bunker Hill, all winners last night. Who am I leaving out in Catawba County that got wins last night? Just a big night of football. Newton Conover, another. Yes.
So what we got in the CVAC next week? I know that Bandy's plays Maiden.
Well, let's see if we can figure it out. West Lincoln goes to Newton. Am I right?
Yes.
Bandy's and Maiden. Lincoln goes to West Caldwell. So that leaves East Burke and help me. It's hard when you want to have Bunker Hill.
Yeah.
East Burke and Bunker Hill. It's hard when you don't have all 8 written down in front of you to realize real quickly which one that you left out. We do know that, let's see, I'm trying to think of who will be matched up. They might flip opponents next week. North Lincoln and East Lincoln might flip opponents next week. I'll tell you this, Ned sent me a message here talking about, yes, East Gaston is undefeated, 6-0, 2-0. I'm surprised by how many unbeaten teams are in North Carolina.
Yeah.
Hickory is one of those, and he says they're at West Iredale on October 13th, so that's 2 weeks away. And then 2 weeks after that is the season finale, Hickory at Statesville.
So we'll be in Greyhound Holler.
Yeah. I think right now, matchups are looking pretty good for that final. I mean, you think about the CVAC, it's Bunker Hill Bandies, it's Lincoln and West Lincoln, it's Maiden Newton Conover, and it's East Burke West Caldwell, but 3 of them ending in county rivalry games that could, play a part, play a factor in the outcome.
Bunker Hill 3-0, the only team undefeated in the CVAC, but they still got some challenges ahead.
Yep, they do.
They got Bandies. They still got to play Maiden.
Yep. Only time will tell. That's what makes the high school football season so fun. It does.
It is.
That's what makes it fun. We appreciate you tuning in this morning to Sports Talk. Glad to have you with us here on a beautiful, beautiful Saturday morning. For Mike Powell, Lenny Anthony filling in for Brett this morning, I'm David Keever saying thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next week on Sports Talk.